Since the announcement of The Brave and the Bold and a new Batman coming to the DCU, there have been a lot of different fan casts of who should play the character. However, over the last few months, there has been a clear frontrunner that fans want to see, and that's Brandon Sklenar. But why is that? I'm assuming a lot of you were in the same boat as I when I first heard the name and asked myself, who the hell is Brandon Sklenar? But due to his increased popularity over the last year and the insane fan desire to see him as Batman, I decided to watch some of his biggest roles to get an idea of who Brandon Sklenar is, to understand what the appeal is, and I gotta admit, I do kind of see the vision. Now of course, there's going to be a full casting search, and in no way is Sklenar confirmed to be Batman in the DCU, even though some people would lead you to believe Gunn only casts who Twitter wants, and if that were the case, Sklenar would definitely be a lock outside of potentially Pattinson joining the DCU, which we're not getting into that in this video. But let's break down Sklenar and why fans seem to think he'd be a perfect choice for Batman. First off, he looks the part physically, which of course is the basis for most fan casts. Standing at 6'3" and over 220 pounds, he definitely fits the build of the Batman silhouette we see of Batman in Creature Commandos, and I can definitely see him as Bruce Wayne. Now I know some people may push back on this because I've seen some people say he doesn't look like Bruce. However, in my personal opinion, the Batman actors we have gotten throughout history have all looked vastly different, and even Batman within comics and animation has looked different. And I personally think if you take certain pictures of him and you take certain comic panels, he looks like a spitting image of Bruce Wayne. It's not a one-for-one. I know he doesn't maybe look as perfect as like Christian Bale did, but I can definitely see him as the playboy billionaire. And of course, I think we can all agree on this, looks alone should not be the basis of casting, and I'm sure in the mind of James Gunn, it is not. But already possessing the physicality to play Batman, as well as already having the look of Bruce Wayne, is most certainly going to help Sklenar, and it seems like it's been very important to James Gunn to get actors who look very similar to the characters on the comic book page. Additionally, another thing that I think helps his case is he has a very deep voice. Now, I don't think it's a necessity for Batman to have some sort of really deep voice, because we've seen Batman actors, whether it's in animation or even live action, if you look at somebody like Keaton, it's not a necessity. You can have very great Batman that don't have the really deep and gravelly voice, but I definitely think it's a help and it ups the intimidation factor. However, let's get into the most important part and his actual acting, which is where I honestly have the most questions. Now, I want to make it very clear, I have not seen every single project that Brandon Sklenar has ever been in, but when you look at the history of Batman actors that we have had some truly amazing actors take on the role who showcase their versatility as actors before and after taking on the role. And with Sklenar, I just don't think he's been in enough yet to show the versatility he has as an actor and to truly showcase how good he is at acting. Now, I want to make it very clear, I'm not saying he's a bad actor at all, as I'm going to talk about one specific role that I think really shows you, oh yeah, this guy could actually do it. But what I'm saying is there simply isn't a lot to watch, and it's very similar to David Corenswet, who I'm immensely excited for, and I know he's a Juilliard trained actor, but for the most part, I'm trusting James Gunn, who is phenomenal at casting and getting the most out of his actors. But similarly to Corenswet, it's not like they've been acting in a bunch of films over the last 10 years that shows you the true variety of their acting ability. You know, if you look at like Christian Bale, who had American Psycho and The Machinist before getting Batman, or if you look at Robert Pattinson's 10 years leading up to the Batman, where he had films like The Lighthouse, Good Time, and even something like Tenet, a lot of the appeal to these two actors in Corenswet and Sklenar is the fact that they just very much look like the character and have the physical build to look like the character off of the comic book page. However, the one role in particular that Sklenar has, and I find it similar to David Corenswet in the show Hollywood, is Brandon Sklenar's character in 1923, where he plays Spencer Dutton. In this role, he's intimidating, he's charming at times, and tortured as a World War I veteran. This is by far the closest of a role that he has to Bruce, even though it's not a one-for-one comparison by any stretch of the imagination. He has a really great presence on screen, and he just seems to be on the cusp of being a star, similar to that of Aaron Pierre, who was cast as Jon Stewart, and really made a name for himself in Rebel Ridge. You could just feel the potential in these actors, and they just truly have a presence to them. Whenever they're on screen, you are drawn exactly to them. Obviously, it probably helps that they're both amazingly good looking, but I really do think Sklenar in this role was a real scene stealer within the show, which I thought was actually really good. But just that one role alone does not give me enough confidence to say, yes, this is definitely a man that could lead a Batman franchise, especially going toe-to-toe with all of the Justice League characters that we're going to have littered throughout throughout the DCU, but I've also never seen him in anything that leads me to believe that he's a bad actor, and with his increased popularity over the last year with things like 1923 and It Ends With Us, hopefully he's going to get more roles, and it's very likely that we're not actually going to be seeing the Batman within the DCU for a couple of years, so maybe by the time the actual casting process starts rolling, he's going to have a couple of more films under his belt or seasons of television like 1923 season 2 that will give you more confidence to inspire that, oh yeah, this guy is an amazing actor and he could definitely take on the challenge. And one thing we know about Sklenar is he actively wants to be Batman, as over the last couple of months, several times he has talked about his desire to be Batman in the DCU. Now, of course, I think pretty much any actor wants to play Batman, as it could be a career-changing role that sets you up for life. But I'll admit, I've always enjoyed seeing actors want to actively play roles within superhero films. It makes me believe there's some level of desire and respect to the character that if they were casted in the role, they would treat it with the respect it deserves. So in conclusion, yes, I'd be quite excited if Brandon Sklenar was casted as Batman. However, I think there are a lot of actors out there that can play Batman, and truthfully, when it comes to the success of the Batman actor, it comes down to the team actually creating the film. So things like directors and writers, I think, are far more important in the long run. But if Brandon Sklenar was casted, I think he has a great look for the character. Obviously, he's built as Batman, and I do think he has a real screen presence, and as shown in the past, he is capable of playing a Bruce Wayne. However, in the comments down below, let me know who you'd like to see as Batman, as I'm sure there are so many other amazing actors that I don't even know about yet who could play an amazing Bruce Wayne. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. It immensely helps out my channel. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in another video.